Have you guys seen? I mean, it's like okay. I swear to you, I watch these things. I don't know what's real anymore, and I don't want to get caught sharing something that turns out to be fake, parodied because I didn't get the joke. It happens. It won't be the end of the world. That won't display poor judgment. There's only so much vetting you can do. I saw this, and everyone's like, "This is the cringiest ad you've ever seen." Who did I see this from here? This is from Josh Walkos, who says, "I present to you the cringiest political ad ever created." And I watched it. I was like, "Oh no, it's parody." But I don't. Whatever. I'm gonna play this, and I've got my insights to this. If you haven't followed me on Twitter, you may. Well, it'll be new to you if you haven't seen my Twitter feed on this.
I'm a man.
I'm a man.
I'm a man, man.
And I'm man enough.
I'm man enough to enjoy a barrel-proof bourbon.
Neat.
Man enough to cook my steak rare.
Man enough to deadlift 500, then braid the out of my daughter's hair.
You think I'm afraid to...
I don't know if I can play the whole thing. And what? Because it's not even clear what the guy said. Okay,
A barrel-proof bourbon.
Neat.
Man enough to cook my steak rare.
Man enough to deadlift 500, then braid the out of my daughter's hair.
You think I'm afraid to rebuild a carburetor? I eat carburetors for breakfast.
I ain't afraid of bears.
That's what bear hugs are for.
I'll tell you another thing I sure as shit am not afraid of.
Can someone verify that this is real? Because now I did my due diligence. I believed it was sufficiently real, and now I watch it again and I'm not sure. I'm gonna just Google this. Chat, see if I got duped and this is actually parody.
Women.
I'm not afraid of women.
I'm not afraid of women.
They want to control their bodies? I say go for it.
They want to use IVF to start a family? I'm not afraid of families.
They want to be childless cat ladies?
Have all the cats you want.
Woman wants to be president?
Well, I hope she has the guts to look me right in the eye and accept my full-throated endorsement.
Because I'm man enough to support women.
Man enough to know what kind of donuts I like.
Man enough to admit I'm lost, even when I refuse to ask for directions.
Man enough to not ban young women from reading Little Women.
Or one of those pants books that the sisters like.
I'm man enough to raw dog a flight. It sucked. Not worth it.
I'm man enough to be emotional in front of my wife.
In front of my kids.
It's real.
My horse.
It's real.
I'm man enough to tell you that I cry at Love Actually.
Goodwill Hunting.
West Side Story.
That and Predator.
And I'm sick of so-called men domineering, belittling, and controlling women just so they can feel more powerful.
That's not happening.
By the way, that guy just described himself. I have no doubt that guy just described himself in his personal life. Holy hell.
My mama raised me.
I love women.
I love women who support their families.
Women who decide not to have families.
Women who take charge.
And I'm man enough to help them win.
Stop. It's a real ad. Okay, so now I've independently verified because if you don't know of a company called Fast Company, I'm not afraid of women. New campaign takes on the Trump-obsessed manosphere. Not controlling women is the manliest thing a man can do, says a new grassroots campaign from Creatives for Harris. So I guess maybe the defense is it's not really her. It's just it's one of her packs. An inescapable presence has been lurking in the sidelines of UFC fights and the inner sanctum of dude-fluencers like the current most in-demand entity of the so-called manosphere, a cyber truck-shaped constellation. What the hell am I reading? Of bro-Y gurus like Rogan Peterson, the 78-year-old president. Okay. Through his campaign, Trump has feverishly courted a young male demographic, carving out a man cave in the house built by right-wing pundits. Can we get to the Okay, that wasn't sitting right with Creatives for Harris, a grassroots collective of ad execs, TV writers, and comedians who support the vice president. In response, the group is now offering a counter-argument with a just-launched campaign that presents the act of supporting women as manlier than a diorama of the Roman Empire made from. There was a time in my life when I read Fast Company when I was working somewhere else back in 2018 temporarily. This is the most cringe-inducing journalism. All right, whatever. The Man Enough campaign kicks off with a cornucopia of traditionally masculine signifiers: a cowboy, a yoked gym rat, a biker, and his hog. Each bacon of machismo takes turns talking direct to the camera about the testosterone activities that get their motor running, such as consuming raw steak or barrel-proof whiskey. Here's what the real message kicks in. The established stratification of gender roles in society is a thing of the past. I can't read any more of this, but I'll keep it up in the backdrop. So it's not a joke. This was the part I took issue with here.
I'm a man.
I'm a
Man enough to cook my steak rare.
First of all, I thought the mistake that he was making as a man was eating his steak overcooked. You want your steak blue, Pittsburgh blue, charred on the outside, super rare on the inside. Cooking it rare is ruining a steak. So congrats. And we're going to get to this guy in his sitting posture in a second. This guy...
Man enough to deadlift 500, then braid the out of my daughter's hair.
You think I'm afraid to rebuild a carburetor? I eat carburetors for breakfast.
All right, I'm going to stop right there. There's only one clearly overweight gentleman in this video, and I'm not doing this to fat shame, and there's no but to that. Ideally, people should, if they want to lose weight. It's healthier. There's no question about it. You'll feel better. You'll sleep better. You won't have sleep apnea. You won't have heart issues. You won't have cholesterol issues, diabetes issues. Anybody who tells you that being overweight is healthy is an absolute liar and should be ashamed of themselves. Now, there's nothing to be ashamed about. Exercise, eat healthy, and get sunlight. Okay, they take the one overweight guy and then make the "I eat carburetors for breakfast" joke. You know, there's the Happy Gilmore shout out there. I eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast. You eat pieces of shit for breakfast? Like, the expression is stupid. It only conjures up Happy Gilmore and the idiocy of some competitive idiot saying, "I eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast." And they get the only overweight guy in that ad to say, "I eat carburetors for breakfast." No, the internet is not a nice place. And it's not a question of approving of a joke to foresee a joke. They're going to make jokes like, "Oh, you eat a lot more than that for breakfast, sir." That is the joke that is necessarily going to follow from that moment. What kind of idiots take the only overweight guy in the ad and then make him make a joke about eating things? You know who does it? I believe it's strategic. I believe they do it knowing that the internet is then going to make the fat jokes so that they can then say, "Look, in addition to being misogynists, those right-wingers, those MAGA Republicans, they're also fat shaming now." They do it. It's sort of like the it's like throwing the brick through your own window so that you can then pretend that you were the victim of an attack for campaigning. We'll get to that in a second because that actually seems to be happening for the Democrats. We'll get there in a second. They do it knowing what's going to happen so they can then weaponize the result. It's exactly like when Justin Trudeau put out that picture of him with what many people didn't know was his son, but I at least looked into it before tweeting. Him and a boy in pink shirts saying, "Wear #Team Barbie." Justin Trudeau knew damn well that him putting out that picture in the wake of his divorce, people were going to make gay jokes because they weren't going to know that that kid in the picture, that other man, was his son and not a young lover. He did it. People did make that joke. And then he weaponized them making that joke to make them look like jackasses. So congrats, you played yourself. Trudeau did it a second time when he posted a picture of his daughter wearing something mildly revealing and saying, "Oh, we're Team Oppenheimer." He had to follow up Team Barbie with Team Oppenheimer. And he posted a picture of his daughter wearing something that's relatively, I don't think it's risque, but it was a tube top or a halter top, whatever, knowing that the internet is going to make certain jokes. And I would say wrongly so. In fact, the dude who did it got some severe blowback, but then someone makes a joke about how his daughter's dressed. And then he gets to say, "Look at these jackasses on the right. They're misogynist. They're homophobic." They plant the joke so that when people make the joke, they then get to weaponize the fact that they made the predictable response to what they've done. And they did this with this stupid ass ad. Plus, the guy I can bench press 500 and then braid the shit out of my daughter's hair. First of all, it's not clear what he just said, and it doesn't sound good. Everything about it is disgusting, cringe crap. But they set it up so that when people have the predictable joke, it's the best, one of the best lines from The Simpsons. "Oh, never mind her, Marge. Her idea of humor is just a concisely placed observation, placed with impeccable timing." I forget, I bastardized the expression. Jokes sometimes write themselves, whether you think it's funny or not. And you can predict the response that's going to occur from the one very much overweight individual talking about eating carburetors for breakfast. It is tantamount to throwing the brick through your window and then saying, "Look what happened to us, send us money." So the ad is real and it's freaking atrocious. And it is tantamount, mutatis mutatis, to the old Chicago trick of throwing a brick through your own window and then holding a presser to talk about how you've been attacked.